So I think the message here and the lesson from our top 1% earners is we've noticed that there are clear traits and habits that separate the top 1% of dropshippers from the rest. So today we're going to be diving into that exciting topic about what it is that separates the people that are earning £10,000 a month from dropshipping versus the rest. We're going to dive into the secrets today. Yeah, James, this is a big one. People often think that there's some magic trick behind it, but really it's more about mindset and habits that anyone can build, which is amazing because it means that it is possible. There are things that I've seen consistently done by our top earning members in our community, traits that lead to long-term success. So looking forward to diving into those on today's episode. Exactly. Yeah, it's a great belief to have. If somebody else can do it, then you can as well. So And the good thing about a lot of the traits that we're going to be talking about today are just that. They're traits that you can pick up as well. It's not something that they have over you that you can't replicate. So the first trait that we've identified and noticed with successful dropshippers is around their mindset. So what do you think is the first trait around their mindset that all high performers seem to share? It seems to be confidence mixed with a willingness to learn. It's that combination of the two. So it's not about being arrogant, but about having the belief in the process and also the belief in your ability to make it work. So if you think of it a little bit like you head into a new Xbox or PlayStation game or a new computer game, whatever console you use to game on, if you do, you might not immediately know all of the levels and the missions yet, but you know that as you go through them, you'll start to figure things out. And so you can go into the game fairly confident, knowing that every single moment you put into it, you're becoming better and more refined and a better player at that game. And you're aware that there will be levels to it and that you'll level up as you go. So even our top earning members, our top 1% of members inside Dropship Unlocked who are already making, 5 figures a month easily, they still show up for the live calls. That's what we see. They still ask questions. They've got that always learning, that forever student mindset, because they know that there's always more to learn. The moment that you stop learning is the moment you stop growing, and it becomes dangerous to become complacent. So if you're just starting, I guess number one advice to take from those top 1% of earners would be to believe in your ability, but don't act like you've got it all figured out from day one. Have confidence, but that willingness to learn is so important as well. There's always more to learn. Yeah, it's such a great point. Something that's so consistent in the top earners is the beautiful balance that they put together between belief in themselves and a humility to know that they don't know it all. So if you don't have either of those, or if they're out of balance, then either you don't have confidence in yourself and therefore you don't ever start because you don't believe in yourself that you can make it happen. Or if you don't have any actual humility, you think you know it all, then you're never willing to bring on new ideas or learn from other things and learn things that you don't know already. And so you can't grow. So there has to be a balance. And certainly from those people that join in on the calls, people that are really successful, making loads of sales every month, but they're like one of the people, or a few of the people that ask the most questions because they know that they got to that position from taking on new information, and they're going to get to the next level as well by communicating with others, sharing what they've learned, and then finding out from others what's taking other people to the next level beyond that. So they don't try and do it all alone is something that really comes clear when they have that humility to learn from others. So what do you think then about that as another trait? How do you see people who are really successful interacting with others? Yeah, they're not trying to be heroes here. The ones who grow fast are the ones who ask for advice, as you say. They get involved in the communities. They share their experiences because they know that there will come a day where they won't have the answer to the thing they're trying to figure out. And at that point, they'll need the community. So they lead with value in that community, knowing that the community will reciprocate back to them later. They don't view it as transactional. They just know it's kind of like karma. The more good stuff you put out there, the more good will come back your way. And it's kind of like if you're assembling flat pack furniture, it's way easier when you ask a friend for help rather than trying to wrestle one side of the wardrobe and the other side and try and hold it up and balance it and trying to, you're doing it on your own, you end up making a mess. But if you ask for support when you know you need it from a family member or a friend, it's so much easier to just follow the instructions and get it done. And that's the same way as leaning on a community when you're building a business. I remember Jared, one of our members in our Dropship Unlocked program,
reached out right after making his first sale. He wasn't afraid to ask how to scale it up. He used to show up to the calls every time. I remember speaking to him every time, twice a week on those calls, asking questions, jumping in, and even just to kind of get confirmation that he was on the right track. Even if he didn't have a specific question, he was very vocal and always showing up. And he wasn't afraid to ask how to get to that next step. And eventually he went on to generate multiple millions of pounds in sales, as we've heard recently from an interview we had with him on this podcast. So you can see that eventually it does work. And I know Jared is still learning. Every time we go to our quarterly meetups at Dropship Unlocked, and he comes along and he's always got new things to share that he's testing and trying in his businesses. So I think the message here and the lesson from our top 1% earners is don't be a lone wolf. Ask for help, connect with others. That's the benefit of being in a community like ours, and learn from people who've already been or are just a few steps ahead of where you want to go. They don't need to be there and be multimillionaires, but they just need to be a little bit further ahead than you. And remember, you will be further ahead by a few steps than someone else. So if you can kind of let down the ladder and help that next person up a few rungs, then by the time you need support, people will have seen that in the community, and there'll be this reciprocation effect. And if everyone acts like that, that's how it becomes the great community that it is. So that's why it works so well.
Exactly. Yeah, I think nobody argues with the fact that you become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And because everyone sort of accepts that now as a belief or a fact, then everyone realizes the power of who it is you're surrounding yourself with. It's a big reason why I joined Dropship Unlocked in the first place, was to get around people that were in the know in terms of building e-commerce businesses. And then the reason why we work so closely together now, Lewis, and why I'm joining the Dropship Unlocked team, was to get around members consistently in the community or on calls or in these in-person events, and which you can do as part of the community. But being part of a team means I'm really close to you as well, Lewis. So I get to learn a lot about how you operate. And I know on this very subject, you've recently got back just a couple of days ago from a mastermind event where you literally do exactly this and get around people that are also in that top 1% that you can speak with and learn from. So when you go to an event like that, Lewis, at that mastermind, do you notice that all these people who are there and earning very high levels, do they constantly want to get around other people at that level as well?
Yeah, do you know, one of the most frequently used words over the last few days at this mastermind event that I went to, and by the way, the level, like the requirement to be in the room at that mastermind event is doing £100,000 in sales per month. Many people there are way beyond, the kind of £1 million mark per year. They're in the tens of millions. But the word that kept coming up was proximity. And it was really interesting. It was all about proximity. Yes, there were strategies being taught in that room. Yes, there were things that people were trying and testing, but it was just to kind of soak up the energy and the belief of what's possible. Because when you see someone operating at 3-4 times what you're at in your company, in your business, it just shatters any limiting belief that you had formerly about, oh, we've hit the ceiling here. And you suddenly unlock this whole new level or this whole new dimension of your business, this new arm to it. And it forces you to level up. You become the average, don't you? And if you are the outlier in that maybe you're slightly below a few of the people in that room, it's only natural and comfortable to level up so you can be at their level. So yeah, proximity to other people in that situation is exactly why I choose to be in rooms like that. And it's exactly why we do our quarterly live meetups at Dropship Unlocked with our masterclass members, because we know that, yes, it's great having a best-in-class online community. It's great having the 30 plus hours of content that we have. Yes, it's great having the 2 live Q&A calls every week, the collaboration calls, the live expert sessions, the member store spotlight calls, all the stuff we do, great. But there's something about being next to those people, the brain rub that you get from being in the same room as people operating at a higher level than you, that almost makes it uncomfortable not to succeed. Because if everyone else in that room is succeeding and you're not, there's almost like an osmosis effect where you'll leave that room, even if you've not been operating at the level you can be, where you'll feel fired up and ready to go. And that's the feedback we get every time we do one of these events. And that's why they're proving so successful. So we're going to keep doing them. And yeah, we're proud to be the place in the UK for high ticket dropshipping entrepreneurs to come and get around others.